this, the way we structure this is a panel discussion. And I already mentioned that 4 people will be sitting in this panel. Ivan, Paul, Fritz, and Mátyás, Matyi. And we will now hear their stories, but this is the point, and I will tell you when is the point that you can ask about many things. Of course, the time is short. This will be very sharp and quick because we don't have that much time. But you can see here that we would like to talk about 4 things, and we will stop at the end of each, which is places, people, practice, and policy. Nice 4P words. And maybe I think I will straight jump into the first one, which is places. And you can see the location of the different communities that we work with in this project. So you can see they are spread across Europe, although 3 of them are located actually in Hungary. And in this first section, I would like to ask our speakers, starting with Paul, to maybe tell a few words about the places where they live. Paul, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. And hello, everyone. Yeah, what you see in the picture here is our Aardehuis eco-village. It's an Earthship eco-village. I'll tell more about it later. In the background, you see the southern part of the rest of the village of Olst, where we are situated in the eastern part of the country. It's to Dutch standards a small village of, say, about 5,000 inhabitants. But well, our own community only comprises of 23 households, so about 70 people. And in the very center of the picture, you see a yellowish house, which is our community house, the community building, where, yeah, very next to an ancient willow tree. So it's a really, yeah, cozy setting, you may say.
Thanks a lot. I pass it on to Ivan. Ivan, please. I can't see you, but we can't hear you yet. Maybe you are muted, Ivan. You need to unmute yourself.
Sorry.
No, that's
I'm
good.
here. So, Gömörsörös is a small village in North Hungary, close to the Slovakian border, with only 70 inhabitants. A quiet, isolated, dead-end village, or no-through road village, that has preserved of its built culture. The village is located in a valley surrounded by hills, on which there were some arable lands and pastures, which were surrounded by forests. In the last half century, people have given up farming, moving to the nearby industrial cities to work and then live. As a result, the village lost a significant part of its population, and nature reclaimed the surroundings environment. The Ecological Institute has been operating here since 1993. The village leadership at that time asked the foundation to have the village developed so that it could retain its population and improve its standard of living. The foundation renovated old buildings and built new ones in place of ruined buildings, giving new functions. The picture shows a new building built in an old style, which serves as accommodation, but also demonstrates energy-saving solution for buildings. The third scheme, the garden, actually, this is a small part of my own garden, which is the site of educational activities related to organic farming.
Thanks a lot. And we are moving to Stans. Fritz. You're muted. Fritz, you're also muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
That's good. So good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all participants. We are more than 180. That's quite impressive. So my name is Fritz, and I served as a mayor in our municipality the last 10 years. Actually, by trade, I'm a forester, and I learned to plant and cut trees, and it was like let's say an accident that I ended up in local politics. As you can see in this picture, this is a site from our little lake in the center of Stans. We have more than 85% of forests. So timber and biomass is quite a big issue in our municipality. On the second picture, you can see that we have a lot of windmills, 23 of them, and in Stans there are about 1,800 people are living. We have a grocery store, restaurants, taverns, a doctor, post office, and a very fire brigade. So we have more or less everything we need for a good life. And our farmers tend to keep the landscape, but most people are working outside. So they are away from home in a big steel mills, first boiler or bunker racing. So they work outside and come home for living into our little village. Our people support wind power. You can see 23 of them. This is not normal in Austria because we have big discussions about that issue. And that's what I want to say. Edina said I keep it short, so I want to hand it over to the next chapter.
Very nice. And I stop sharing for a second and I pass it on to Matyi to have a bit of discussion, a youth reflection on these ideas and maybe some questions. Mátyás, please.
Yes, thank you very much and welcome everyone. My name is Mátyás Révai and I'm, as Edina mentioned, my task here is to bring up some issues and concerns what young people usually meet when they are thinking about to move to rural areas, about their livelihood, about where to find their place. So, and actually, I am one of the youth men what Edina was talking about, because I moved from Budapest to a very small village to the western part of Hungary, Kerkakutas it's called, in Zala County, close to the Slovenian border. And I started my own initiative called Habitat Hub. I am hosting like volunteering camps and different type of environmental educational programs. So I met several young people actually in my professional life who really would like to live an alternative rural life, close to nature, but it's very hard to find a place where they can really start their own livelihood and where they can commit to. So I would like to ask the members or the participants of the roundtable that what advice would you give to the young people? What factors did you consider when deciding where to move? And maybe like a personal story. How did you find your place where you live at the moment?
Since Ivan was put first in spotlight, maybe Ivan, you can start answering that question. You need to unmute yourself again. Ivan, please unmute yourself. Yeah.
Okay, so I think it would be very practical to say that they should consider the decision very strictly. So they should find a place where always sunshine and rain, and then good soil, and then good neighbors, and then all services are available. But I think such a place none exists, actually. So I would say that you should find a place where you feel that this is love first sight.
Paul?
Yes, well, as you may know, the Netherlands are quite densely populated. We were actually aiming for setting up our community very nearby the city of Deventer, which is about 10 kilometers south of us now. But well, we were just by coincidence actually invited by one of the aldermen of the municipality of Oostweijen. And well, it appeared that it was just a golden opportunity, because railway services are there just on our doorstep, you may say. So it's very easy to connect with the larger city and all cultural benefits that come from that, and still have the quiet and all the possibilities that a rural area offers. So we have, you may say, the benefits of both worlds, and that's a very attractive thing. Apart from that, just one more thing is that our community aimed for building it ourselves. You see some youngsters here in my background building on a car tire wall, which is just the basic construction way of earthships. But the do-it-yourself attitude we were advocating with, that was really a thing that attracted a lot of young people, actually, because it's easy to do, it's low tech, and it's fun as well.
Fritz.
Yes, what I've learned is when you want to run a family with 2 kids, for example, it's getting very expensive and very difficult to stay in town. So people have, I think you have to tell them 2 things. The first one is, to live in a rural area, it's not a romantic love affair. It's you have problems in towns and you have problems in the rural areas. But the most important thing I think is that the municipalities are able to give them good childcare. So because most of the time they had to go in another village to work, and when they don't have a good childcare, they are not willing to go to the rural area, because that's a big problem for young families. When you can't get good childcare, that's a main argument against moving to rural areas. So we invest a lot of money to give them good support. That's important, I think.
Thanks a lot to all 4 of you for reflection. And this is also the time still staying with the topic of place, and I'm sure you will have many questions on other things as well, but we will move to the other topics of people, practice, what these guys are doing, and also policy. But any questions on the location, on the place to our panelists, or any comments from your side? You can do it in many ways. Either you can put comments in the chat, but you can also raise your hand. There is at the bottom normally this function, this reaction function, which it says react. And if you click on that and the small arrow or on the sign next to it, you will see a raise hand. So anyone who is brave enough to start to ask questions, or if you have questions, you can ask either in Hungarian, it will be translated, or in English. These are the 2 options. So any questions to the people here? If not, I wanted to ask, by the way, Iván, did you find sunshine and happiness and everything was fine? That's why you picked Gömörsölös?
Yes, of course.
That was a short and sharp answer. And did you get the answer to your questions, Matyi, that you wanted to get?
Yes. Of course, with this limited time, these are important factors, what you all mentioned.
And do you have childcare in the area where you live?
Yeah, institutions are quite good, but actually one of the reasons why I moved to I wanted to bring it in. One of the reasons why I moved to the western part of Hungary is because of the precipitation level. So nowadays, all the Carpathian Basin is drying out, and actually this western part and the hilly part of Hungary is, if you are looking for future precipitation amounts, you can see that this will be like a wetter area in the future, hopefully. So I just wanted to bring it in, that ecological perspective is also very important if you are looking for a place to live as a young family or a young person.
Very nice. I'm looking at Tamas if there are any specific comments or questions in the chat that we should highlight. If not, okay, I can see there is quite a lot going on in the chat anyway, but okay. So let's move, and maybe people will have even more inspiration from the next blocks. Okay, so we are moving from the place to the people, and I will again ask each of our panelists to tell a bit about their community. And once again, I think we start with Paul. Paul, who are these guys?
Yes, these are the newest inhabitants of our eco-village. They moved in later after we finalized the construction, actually. But they are kind of initiated by filling up a car tire, as you can see in the front of them. And they succeeded. So yeah, there's a celebration here. Yeah, and we have, as I said, about 70 people, some 30 children, and the rest are adults, and some are flocking out. But fortunately, as you can see, we got some young persons after some older people left our project, because they needed to move towards where their children lived, because they were starting to age and stuff like that. So last summer we celebrated our 10th anniversary as a community completely finalized in construction terms. So this is an ecstatic dance event we had, but we had 3 days of festivities, which were attended by hundreds of people. So we kind of made an impact, at least in the Netherlands, but also out, also abroad, because our community, our eco-village could not have been built without the help of about 2,000 volunteers coming from 27 different countries all over the world. So it was really impressive to receive them and receive their gift of their aid to our community in constructing the houses.
Very nice. Thanks for that introduction. And I'm giving the floor again to Iván. Iván, how is life in Gömörsölös?
Very good life. So first of all, it is important to clarify that Gömörsölös is not an eco-village. The foundation employees are not aboriginals, but rather immigrants. As you said, we are Jutment. But I came and I'm still staying. So. We have found a home here where we do our everyday work. We are in contact with many people, primary visitors who are curious about the theory and practice of sustainable resource use. About 2,000 visitors visit us every year, and most of them spend at least 2 days with us on training courses. Actually, this picture shows a group of visitors in my garden. The foundation philosophy is to involve volunteers in the work. Our volunteers are chosen from among those who have already participated in our training courses, and with whom we have established a friendly, good relationship. They help us with our work during organized events, help maintain the buildings, or as you can see here in this picture, help preserve the natural values of an ancient orchard, or preserve the local fruit genetics and the characteristic of the orchard landscape. The third group of people is the participants in the trainings who come from many parts of the country, mostly people of mixed ages and professions who have one thing in common. They want to live in harmony with their natural environment. So although we are not a local community, we still form a large community with all those who are committed to sustainability. Let me say they are our family.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Fritz.
When we talk about people in a village, we need to think about what binds us together. So what is the glue which keeps us together, and what is the mechanism which says what does unite us and maybe what does sometimes divide us? So here you can see my brother's family and neighbors, young and old, harvesting apples. And I think it's a beautiful sight. When there is work to be done, we have to pitch together, and that's fundamental on the local level, and maybe not only on the local level. And in the next slides, you can see some projects we did the last 10 years. So some are very simple and some are very challenging. And on the left side, you see people wanted to beautiful terrace on our lake. So the question was how to do it. And an elderly gentleman told us a story about after the war, he needed a diesel pile driver. This is the old machine you see there, and to build foundations. And we found one of these old machines, more than 100 years old. And many people were watching our heroes who operate this old diesel pile driver. And actually, it's a very simple project, but one that had a very powerful impact on community cohesion, you know? So when we talk about cohesion policy, this is a hands-on project on the local level, and that's, I think, very important to build trust, and trust is everything you need, everything you need on the local level, because without trust, nobody will move, you know?
Do you want to say a few words about the intergenerational building on the right?
Yes, on the right side, on the right side, you see a living housing we did to organize housing for elderly people living together with young people, because we are convinced about that they can learn from each other. And on the right side, you see our project group, which founded our new grocery store. So that's not one person who has all the ideas. You need a group who realized that they had to pull on the same side of the rope. So this is a special project. We founded an energy community in Stans, and on the right side you see Renewable, which is very helpful because he's a sociologist, and they have a completely different sides on problems you deal with on the local level. Politicians count in heads, sociologists count think in cohorts. So it's a different. And I learned when you want to organize 1,800 people which are living in Stans, you need 40 people who do not just read and talk. 40 people do go to action. 40 people are enough to start with. I didn't know that before, but so Rainer told me, and was very helpful at the beginning.
Thanks a lot. And here I stop again with the presentation, and I give the floor to Matyi.
Yes. What I would like to add is what I've seen in younger generation, that, and Ivan mentioned, that so many people are looking for a place, a community where they would like to join, which is ready already. So like just find a nice place and integrate or join an existing one. But if everyone would like to join a good existing community, then nobody would start a new one. And it's like how I find it's very challenging to start a new community. And I'm very curious about your opinion, that how if you would invite like a young people or a young family to your place, what would you suggest to them where they can find partners, or finding partners or find a business partners, or to find their friends in your neighborhood? And the other question is that what qualities did you consider most essential to start a new rural lifestyle? So like coping with loneliness or coping with lack of services. What would be the most challenging one?
And before you go answering and I pass on the floor, let me just ask maybe those who connected later, if you could just put next to your name your country as well. This will be important for us to see the different country participation. And I'm saying a few words in Hungarian. Szerintem mindenki rájött már, de azért biztos voltak, akik később csatlakoztak, hogy magyar fordítás elérhető. Gondolom nagyon sokan, vagy többen már azon a csatornán vagytok. Ez a legalsó fekete sorba kell egy ilyen interpretation, vagy valami hasonló gombnak lenni, és ott ki lehet választani a magyar nyelvet, úgyhogy magyarul is nyugodtan hallgassátok és szóljatok hozzá. Tehát legalul kéne egy ilyen földgömb jelű jelnek lenni, lehet, hogy a 3 pont után van, tehát lehet, hogy kibővíteni kell azt a sort, de gondolom rájöttetek, mert elég késő van, hogy ez megtehető, és akkor lehet magyarul is hallgatni, 2 tolmács fordítja folyamatosan.
Bocsánat, Edina, hogy el lehet némítani az eredeti hangot, azt ugye többek kérdezték, hogy párhuzamosan hallják a kettőt, és van egy, hogy mute original audio, és akkor elvileg csak a fordítás hallatszódik, ez csak...
Ja, jó, köszi. Igen, tehát ez az opció is megvan. And those who only would like to listen, although we didn't have Hungarian speaking until now, talking, but you will be able to listen to the translation also from Hungarian to English. So magyar résztvevőket bátorítanám, nyugodtan kérdezzenek magyarul is, ha úgy kényelmesebb, bárkinek kérdése van, a Matyi kérdése után nyugodtan fölteheti magyarul is, és majd akkor tájékoztatjuk a többieket, hogy ezt fordítják. But with that, if you haven't forgot the question yet, I pass it on to Paul to answer or reflect on what Matyi was saying, asking. Paul, you want to start?
Sorry. Yes. Yeah. What's the golden rule if you don't want to wait for others to start something you can connect to? I think the basic thing is that you need to be a little naive about what's ahead. Otherwise, you probably won't start. But if you do so, just know that you're not alone. You're not the only one, because there's lots of people who really crave for something alternative instead of busy city life. And so you have to reach out and find the right channels to reach the right persons who are in league with you to be a bit naive about what they can accomplish. What we did here in Alston, the Netherlands, has never been done before, and it was completely contrary to all building rules and regulations that apply here. So we really needed to find a partner, and that was the municipality of Oostweijen. So we were lucky in that sense, and naive, but we were very clear about what we wanted, and that's another thing that's very, very important. Be absolutely clear what you want, otherwise you'll just attract a lot of people who are just dreaming about, but you never arrive at your end station.
Be very dedicated, and you have to be very naive in the same time. Great, thank you.
Ivan, you want to jump in?
Just a sentence. I think what you badly need is a good attitude, and then you need respect 3 times. You need to respect the local community, the local environment, and then the local culture.
That's very important. Fritz?
Well, as you know, we are a citizen list, so we were coming out of a conflict with the regional government, and we fight for 1.5 years, and this fight brings us together very close. So because they want to merge us with the next bigger town. So this was not a good idea. People don't want to do that. And this puts us together very closely. So we have a common goal. And I think to have a common goal is very important when you move in a certain direction. So the question is, what is the common goal in a local community? It's that what you need for a good daily life. So you had to break it down. What's really important and what is nice to have, because money is always short. So you have to think about how to deal with the shortage of money and how to move on. People are when you have a meeting, you sit 10 minutes there and say, okay, this is the problem, where is the solution? I think it's important to think much more about where are you standing, because sometimes it's not clear what's the real problem. We have a lot of nice to haves, but we need to consider what our must haves, and that's important to make it happen, to sit together and to discuss this stuff in a very polite way. I think that's important for a community.
Thanks a lot. And I'm again turning to our audience. If anyone has any comments or questions about the place, the people, how you connect to community, or just tell your own experience, it would be really nice if you spoke up.
There
Otherwise,
are also some questions in the chat. If immediately there are no questions, I can read it up if you okay with that.
Maybe let's see if there are
yeah. Let's wait.
Anyone who wants to speak up, and if not, then please. Any hands up or any questions on what you heard? No, not yet. Okay, Emese, then the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. It seems that most of the people are interested in moving in these 4 or 3 places here, because the questions are for that. The first question is, are these growing communities or are they already full? I mean, your communities, can newcomers go there?
Well, if I can answer, we only managed to buy 1.2 hectares of land. So I'm sorry, we are full. But yeah, our municipality is eager to receive newcomers with good ideas, as you can tell from the fact that not only our projects, but also 2 neighboring ecological building projects have been established. So yeah, there are many municipalities who are just open for new ideas.
Very nice. Iván?
Well, we are not a community, as I said, so everybody welcome.
To start a new one. Fritz? Is Strang's full? You're muted, Fritz.
I think it's important to get the right people to join the community, because
so not everybody from here can join.
Well, the question is, the more people you have in a community, the more money you get from there, But we did some calculations, and I think it's not a good or smart strategy to maximize our inhabitants, because we had to think about what are our local resources, and how to use them, and that's important. And we think it's a good way to think about to get connected to people who have the the same way of thinking. Yeah? That's important, because when you're talking about how to plan your future, it's much more interesting to talk to people who are open-minded, who are understanding all our problems we have in the local level and the other levels above us. And when you want to move on, it's much more efficient to talk to people who have the same mindset. So we are looking for people. So if somebody wants to move from Hungary or somewhere else in Europe to Stans, we are very happy about that.
Yeah, Matyás, please.
Some questions in the chat about should be a list of these little small communities who are looking for new partners or new members. And actually there is, at least in the Hungarian side, which called Kisközösségi program is dealing with these local eco-communities or small communities program. And they are researching these small communities, and you can find many examples throughout Hungary. And usually these communities are very open to visitors. You can see them, visit them, talk about their lifestyle, maybe join them at some point.
It's very nice that already so many people would like to move and looking for places to move to. Emma, anything else quickly you want to add?
Just one little question, but I don't know if in some words it can be answered. How the community members have income? Is it work remote or travel, or they travel in cities, or they are self-employed? What's general, or what's the most in your community? What's where they can get income? Sorry.
Very brief answer so that we can move to the next one. Fritz, what are most people doing?
Most of our people are working in the steel industry, so they get very good money. And the income level is pretty high where we are living.
So it's a good target place to go to.
Yes, it is. When you get a working place, it is.
Okay. Iván, I know you have a slide on this as well, but you might want to.
On what? I have a slide.
You will tell about your model or how you operate your model, but where do people earn their money, or where can they earn their money from?
I think most of the people old age pension are there. So okay, so you know that our story is that we wanted to establish a sustainable village 33 years ago, and then in this village most of the people lived in poverty and left a small ecological footprint. So our goal was to maintain this small footprint while increasing the well-being, not because of the poverty of the people, but because of their good environmental awareness. So we created a model that focused on generating local income by recreating the local economy and then the market. We wanted to enhance both sides of the market, the demand and then the offer, you know, because we had just 70 people in the village which cannot generate sufficient demand. Even a small store could not be maintained from this income there. One on the demand side, we could count on tourists and visitors, while on the supply side, elements included organic farming, the reconstruction of the ancient orchard, the preservation of the genetic stocks of local varieties, the renewal of handicrafts and educational, a kind of educational tourism. Over this past 33 years, we have, very frankly speaking, we have suffered many failures. After all, what was in real demand was the knowledge we provided. And that is why today our main activity is education. So we have built a significant infrastructure, training and demonstration center, accommodation buildings. We have our own kitchen and dining room. Every weekend we hold training courses on the theory and practice of sustainable development, healthy lifestyle, organic gardening. We have developed a method that does not require any plant protection activity, which is based on healthy soil, healthy plants, and biodiversity, of course. The date, we have made more than 40 films on the above mentioned topics, some of which have exceeded a million clicks. We also tour the country with lectures, which recruit more and more visitors. And Edina asked me to talk a bit about this deep mulch gardening method, but I am not going to do that because I want you make curious to join the next meeting where I will talk about this.
Thanks a lot, Ivan. And I was just switching to these because Ivan actually presented this model of the different activities that they are doing, and we can have a snapshot in the next round. But we were a bit jumping ahead. Maybe Paul, you still want to say where the income is coming from in your area, and then we go to the practice.
Yes, very shortly. Our inhabitants are from all kinds of different trades. So lots of us are actually self-employed. We don't have as many acres or hectares to provide in our own food production or stuff like that. Although we have some very interesting spin-off projects that boost the local economy and other in different areas. But as far as I can tell, nobody of our 40 adults at least make a living out of that. Self-employed and also different other trades like teachers, people in healthcare, people working as civil servants. So we managed though gradually to localize our employment as far as possible. So we don't have any need to move out to other places, simply because it's so nice to live here.
Mm-hmm. So remote work is possible as well. I think it tells you can do many things and being located in such an environment. Okay, let's move maybe because of time to our third section. And I'm just checking I'm sharing the right, hopefully, slides. Okay, I want to move on back and maybe we can continue with you, Paul. This section is about practice, by the way, so we are at the third block. Do you want to maybe tell a bit about the practicalities and what people will learn when they go to your place and how it functions briefly?
Yes, well, what you see here, this aerial shot is it tells all about it. Actually, you can see that we managed to be self-sufficient in many ways in solar energy, but also our water supply and our wastewater treatment. Mainly you can see that we are surrounded by greenery and also on the roofs of our houses actually, which all adds to biodiversity. It's been designed in terms of permaculture, so most of our environment is also edible in many ways. And that's just adding to the wellness we experience in living here. So the next slide is a cross section of one of our of a typical aardehuis earthship, and it's all kind of self-functioning with a natural airflow with passive and active solar energy. So we so the previous slide, please.
Sorry.
Yeah. Our houses hardly need any additional heating, yeah, so in that sense, it's very cheap living, because once you have built it, the house takes care of you instead of you have to take care of the house itself. And well, there's lots and lots more to be told about it, but that's for the practical sessions later on.
Thanks a lot. And Ivan already explained a bit their model, and I think different kind of income sources in the previous intervention. And as much as I want to convince him to tell a bit about his method, but just give us a teaser, Ivan. I mean, you've got thousands of people watching your videos here, and what's the success of that? You don't have to tell the method, but I don't want to let you off the hook. If you can say just a teaser or a few words of what people will learn when they go to your place.
Look, we are all aware that a lot of people move to the countryside, and that they are looking for a better life standard. They want a healthy food for the family, and so forth. But we know that the conventional gardening or agriculture, it's not the way for healthy food. So we are so popular because we not just talking about what is sustainable agriculture, but we are doing, and then we demonstrate this. So we found a new innovation. It's about deep mulching. I don't want to tell you that we discovered the mulching, because this is an ancient method, but we rethink this method actually, and then we renew this to make it much more ecologically sound. So
that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's already something, thanks. And we'd love to hear more when we go there. Okay, Fritz, you want to say a bit about the system and then the specificities?
Yes, so when we started to talk about our goals, our future, we are talking about how to use our biomass, and it turned out that we are into a concept which threefolded more or less. So the overall goal is to get more resilience, because we are influenced by a lot of things which come down from the big world. So we think about to get more resilient against, for example, energy. And we have a concept which says that energy shed is an interesting concept. We are thinking that our Stanzertal, where we are living, is like a watershed, and everything inside this watershed and everything inside this shed is important for our energy questions. For example, we have had a survey, energy wood, every year we can harvest, can deliver 1,500 households for heating. The thing is, we have only 750 households, so this is a surplus we can work with. Energy sovereignty is everything which is connected to ownership. When you are able to give people ownership to the project you do in a local level, in a municipality, they easily get engaged in this project. So you don't have to convince them every time. You as a mayor, you have not the energy to do that every day. So what convinces them to get engaged? Sovereignty is one big thing, and they like it. and that produces trust as well. And the third thing is, and that's the reason I had to congratulate Ivan for his work. You know, we had to return to local cycles, and a lot of this old knowledge has been lost, and to reintroduce it and to revive it is very important. We had to reduce to that what is in front of our doors. And energy in place is a concept where energy is not only a commodity, you know. Energy is everything we need, and all what we are doing in the whole world is done by energy fluxes, more or less, you know. And we had to think about what the elders, the ancestors, what they had thought about energy. So we can save a lot of things which are interesting for our future. And that's the reason that we are thinking about in this three-folded concept in terms of to get more resilient. And this is a very modern approach. The thing is that the old knowledge is very important, but we had to combine it with very modern techniques, for example. This is an example we try to do in Stanz. Every kilowatt hour which is produced from our BV is one token, so it's an energy currency. And this token you produce is saved in a wallet, and with this wallet you can go to our grocery store and, for example, buy a beer, you know. So normally when you are not able to use your own produced energy, you had to give it to the grid operator more or less for free, 2, 3, 4 euro cent. And it comes back as electricity, which costs about 20 to 25 cents. So we want to have something of this type of business. And this produces ownership, and it produces the case that much more energy is consumed on the local level. So not damaging our grid. Yeah.
Very nice. Quick reflection from Matyás, and then from anyone else.
I wanted to actually, there are 2 questions, and 2 days ago we were talking a little bit about that you know, when you start a new initiative, you need to plan a lot of things and find out what you would like to do and how. And sometimes that it can be parallel. You can be paralyzed by thinking too much about it. And on the other hand, there are many people who just do it without thinking too much about it. And I'm very curious about your story at the beginning when you're thinking back. That how did you see this balance? How much should you plan, and how much should you do? You know, Paul mentioned this naivety. It's very important. So it's how I've understood. It's more about doing without thinking too much. That would it be successful or not? So that would be my first question, because it's very I think interesting for young people to where to start a project like this or how to do it. And another thing is that I would like to hear a little about how did you find this core project idea? You know, it's for Ivan is about the gardening and the deep mulching. For Paul, how I understood, it's about earthship buildings, and for Fritz, it's about the energy. So how did you end up with these kind of topics, and why? Why not others? So why didn't you do something else? And maybe it can be interesting for the audience. Thank you.
Who wants to kick it off? Ivan?
Well, I think this is a process. You are on the way always, you know. So first, we just were talking about sustainable development in general. And then not so many people were interested to listen to us. And then I thought that we should show what is sustainable development in practice. So we switched to showing practical things, sustainable resource use technologies. And then this brought actually the success for us, because people can do something with the practice, but less with the words.
Sorry, Paul.
Yeah, okay. We weren't too naive to start with, because otherwise we wouldn't have succeeded. But we were all kind of blank in terms of knowing how to construct your own house, for instance. And the money that came with it, building ground in the Netherlands is very expensive because it's scarce. So so in total, it cost about 5.5 million euros, the whole project. So we hired some specialists for guidance in the process and in the communication with the municipality, and also some specialists throughout the week to guide us with the technical realization of the construction itself, because we neither of us was experienced in building. Afterwards, I can say we had a very steep learning curve in construction, but not at the beginning. So doing it together is another item, another issue that has helped us enormously. So yeah, you've got this saying: alone you go faster, but together you get further, and that's exactly what happened with us. So about the reason why we did it, you may say that building with recycled and natural materials, as we did, is our part of an answer to the climate and biodiversity crisis. We aim to minimize our ecological footprint, and we aimed at using as low-tech techniques, as many low-tech techniques as possible. So an earthship is, by example, a low-tech building that you can build. You can learn it yourself, and that is exactly what appealed to many people, because of all species on this planet, only Western society people don't know how to construct their own houses. All other species on this planet do. So that was a challenge we wanted to take on.
That's a nice one. Fritz, please.
Well, I think it's quite easy, because you had to talk to people. When you're talking about strategy and which direction you want to move on, as a mayor, you had to think about, nobody is waiting 5 years for the best concept ever. Nobody is waiting. So you need quick wins. And what I learned is when there is a lot of emotions inside such a process, you can run in the wrong direction with great passion, So you had to be careful and think about what's the right direction, and to talk to people and to sort out what is nice to have and what is really needed, what is a must-have. That's very important, I think, because we need more bottom-up approach to convince people to step into these local processes, to spend their leisure time. It's only 5 to 10%, not more. When everyone in every village spend 5% of their leisure time, we end up very happy. So it's not to spend all your time in community issues. It's just 5 to 10%. And that's important, I think, in terms of which type of strategy you are using.
Very interesting. Any questions from you who are listening, maybe on the method or anything else in specific about the practices that we heard? Or Emese, if there are any specific questions in the chat.
Yes, two questions And so the first one is what is growing on the field on the right on the picture of Paul. That is what is on the field. I mean, what kind of plant?
Right. Well, what's growing there is just very regularly farmed maize. I think in this picture, we have a very regular farmer on our southern edge. So that actually poses a problem in terms of pesticides being sprayed on the field. While we on the southern side of our municipality try to maintain an ecologically tended garden. That's quite hard. So we actually managed to create some kind of a buffer zone, which is not showing in this picture, but it's there now.
Very well spotted, whoever asked that. Very good eyes some people have here. Okay, anything?
And the second goes to Fritz. What type of energy do you use? I mean, wind or solar panels or both or biomass?
We use biomass most as heating systems. We use PV and we use hydropower.
Okay, I think that's all, but maybe some.
Okay. Okay, so maybe just to jump to the last bit then, and then we might have some more time for quick discussion, but I guess you're getting quite a lot of information now as well. Okay, this is policy, and although Iván is sitting here, I will just display a short video from one of the interviews he had from one of the many, where he actually doesn't talk about the practice, but the policy. Of course, it was just an introduction to something. This is also subtitled, but I guess our interpreters will also translate.
Hát azt gondoljuk, hogy a természetet ezt a természetbe kell megvédeni, de sajnos nem, hanem hát nyilván hivatalokban, politikában, és ilyen egyébként nagyon nehezen járható utakon, amik hát nem is igazán sikerültek. Nekem sem, meg másoknak sem arra kellett rájönni, hogyha az ember elér valamit valakivel, akkor jön a következő rezsim, és úgy fogja egy tolvonással ketté húzni, hogy csak vége. És hát innentől kezdve nyilvánvaló, hogy az ember jobbnak látta nem foglalkozni mondjuk a politika befolyásolásával, hanem sokkal inkább talán az emberek felé érdemes fordulni.
These are quite not strong statement, but a bit provocative. Do you want to comment on that, Iván, first? You're muted.
Sorry. So maybe for Western European people who have lived in democratic conditions for a long time, it is very difficult to understand the situation and thinking of the Eastern Europeans. In my life, there was socialism, there was a change of regime, then another change when we entered to the EU, and then we experienced a series of political regime changes, including the one we are in right now. So these many changes always brought new and new regulation and did not provide a predictable environment for long-term decisions. So we live our lives from change to change, and then we always can reborn, actually. So, you know.
That's a really nice way to put it.
Yeah, but this is not even the biggest problem for a person or community that is looking for an alternative path. The bigger problem is that the rules are too rigid. They apply to everyone, big and small, equally. Social innovation is hampered by a series of administrative obstacles, over-regulation, complicated administration, more recently, digitally terror are common in all areas. So by this, I mean digital terror, I mean that there are many matters that can be only handled digitally, and you are no longer human if you don't have a smartphone, as do I, actually. So, and finally, the real biggest problem is that the further you are from the center of the decision, the more you suffer from its mistakes. We are all different. We live in different environment. Our abilities, opportunities are different. Yet we have to follow the same rules. So let me say that Brussels and Budapest are far away from the solution.
That's a very valid point, I think. I want to show one slide from Fritz, and maybe Fritz, you can explain what it shows, because you've been a mayor of Stans for quite a few years. And you might want to explain that and whether you could influence things at your level.
Well, you know, I stepped into politics and I didn't have a clue to politics before. You know, I'm a forester, as I said before. So to be part of the local politician scene brings us to the point: what is the reason that people are not really willing to expose themselves? So our strategy was to make a campaign, not to get matched and merged with the bigger city. And the first part of the campaign was the big ugly black fish. This was the regional government. And this tiny fish was Stans. And this is the way that everyone understands what's going on in this merger. And it took 1 year that we can talk to each other respectfully, that we can talk to the regional government in respect and in a patient way to get constructive, to exchange our ideas. Because first they want to put us down, you know. They tried it, but they failed, hopefully. And to sit together on a table and to talk from eye to eye, that's a prerequisite, I think, for local democratic development. People should have the possibility to talk to other people what they think. That's very important. Even if it's not the greatest idea, but you have a frame where people can talk what they think. It's very important. Yeah, so that was our way, and people do appreciate it, because the mayor, which is in charge now, has the majority now in the local council. So
thanks a lot. And it has to be told that Fritz could have been mayor for longer, but he preferred to retire and spend years with his grandchild. So it's the same.
I talked to my wife.
Maybe it was the pressure from his wife as well, understandably, because I prepared a film about a day in his life, a documentary film, which I can share later on with those who are interested. And it's incredible what it took to do that every day. So it's because of that. Paul, you want to say, from your perspective, politics and policy, how it impacts you?
Yes. Well, as I already stated, our concept of building is to Dutch standards very experimental. So we needed to find a municipality that was willing to partner with us instead of just play the governmental body you turn to when you want to build something. So apart from national regulations and laws, we needed a municipality that was willing to look for the niches in how to accomplish what we were aiming for. And luckily, it's all about people. This connecting with the government. I mean, with the local government. If you have the luxury of being able to choose where you want to start your project, you can find a place where people are willing to take the opportunity to join with you. And actually, for us, it was a lucky circumstance that the municipality of Oostweijen was just when we met the one of the aldermen. They were just on the brink of trying to formulate their new policy on sustainability. So one of the civil servants told the alderman something like, "Oh, you really should take this opportunity, because if you get this project within the boundaries of our municipality, we'll have a benchmark for all our sustainability policies, and apart from that, it'll put our little village on the international map." Which turned out to be very true. Apart from the 27 countries our volunteers came from, we still have lots of people from all over the world being interested in what we're doing. Well, of course, this whole session here is a showcase of that. So yeah. Well, that's basically, I think, the take I'd like to give away. Like, yeah, it's all about connection, finding the right connection within the right tone of voice with local civil servants and politicians.
Many thanks. Reflection, Matyás, and then we can also conclude the session.
Yes, thank you. What I wanted to say is what I experienced, that many projects, very innovative projects, are really on the gray zone in terms of legislation and law, and sometimes this is like. But people, I really like that, what I experienced, and young people really would like to join that, and they don't really care about it because they feel ethically that what they are doing is good. A very good example here in Hungary is the water retention movement, where small local guerrilla teams, they are trying to do very low technique water retention projects on small streams, because it's so complicated legally to deal with living waters, and they are doing in a guerrilla way to stop the water and increase the infiltration of water, and that's how to keep some water into the land. And this movement is very, very popular now because the people are facing with very, very practical issues, and they don't have the time to wait for the legislation. And that's how I see how we are changing the legal system, that these pioneers are so important to it's not 100% legal, but they need to start because they think it's good, and then but it has to be followed with a good legislation. And my question would be that to you, that can you give me some examples of regulations that specifically hindered your good causes, what you are fighting for, and that if changed would have made a lot of things much easier? Can you give some examples?
I think Iván started to list hundreds, but maybe you can pick one, Iván.
Yeah, so there are many examples. You know, we run with the compost toilets. There's the alternative sewage treatment, the living machines, let I say, food processing, drinking water, energy self determination, construction restriction, access to farmland, administration about the visitors. So these are very, very different, very over-regulated, and then you need to put a lot of efforts and time to do it, actually. So life would be easiest without this over-regulation, actually.
Thanks a lot, Paul.
Yeah.
Again, you had
yes.
lots of challenges.
Yes, we did, and well, just to give an example, if you want to apply for building permits, there's just this small stack of forms you have to fill in, and then you get your permit most of the time. But we had to fill in, well, find out a lot of things that that weren't regular in regulations. So we ended up with a big ordner full of documents we had to hand over in addition, proving, for instance, that earth plaster on straw bale isn't prone to catch fire. Well, of course it isn't, because it's earth, but it hadn't been done yet in the Netherlands on that scale. So the fire department really needed to see proof of that fact. Well, luckily in Germany they had some scientifically taken tests with that, so we could find some documents from there, and the same was for many other aspects of the construction. We had to find all kinds of documents from all over the world, actually, to prove that what we were building is in constructional terms, for instance, and environmental terms, at least as good as the traditional brickstone houses or concrete houses that are mostly built in the Netherlands.
And Fritz, or you can...
Well, I can agree with Ivan. We are overregulated in a massive way, and that makes a lot of problems. And if you try to comply with all the regulations and laws, you know, you won't get anywhere. So the question is, who takes the risk? And we try, in Stanz, we try to take the risk as a group and not as an individual. And sometimes you have to stop a certain type of risk balance, because sometimes you're out of boundary, you're moving very fast, and you know, sometimes you have to stop, to slow down and make a risk balance. But you had to follow some regulations, but we try to compete and not to get in big fights. We try to move around, you know, because overregulation, innovation is innovation in Europe. I think it's done top down, and that's a very bad way, you know. Innovation is a thing which should be summed up together from bottom up, from a bottom-up approach, and that's much more important. And then it's not a big problem to get people engaged. So that's the way we try.
Thanks a lot. And maybe for a last round of questions or comments, Amish, I don't know if there were any in the chat, or if anyone would like to speak up on any aspects that we heard from these four speakers today. Otherwise, we will conclude this session and come to the next steps points, because I know it's been a long discussion. Emesha, anything on the chat?
For the politics, there are no more questions.
Okay.
Some remarks
there are very good comments, so
yeah,
I highly recommend everyone to read all the thank you for all the valuable comments.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks for that. And it's really good that you're engaging. I think we need to keep discussing these things as well. So I'm looking again at you in case you have any final comments, questions. Of course, that's what the SURE project is about. So you will have many, many new opportunities also to go into the details. As Ivan was saying, he will tell, for instance, at the next event, what they are doing. But I'm still looking if there are any raised hands or questions.